Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to another First Impressions video. Today I'm taking a look at WrestleQuest for PlayStation 5. Now it's been a bit of a mad couple of weeks for releases, certainly for me anyway. Obviously I've still got to get a review up for Everspace 2 and God. I want to get some kind of video up about Red Dead Redemption, you know, the new, well it's not even a remaster, reissue I suppose. And then up pops WrestleQuest today on the PlayStation Store. And this is a game that I've had my eye on for a while. Now, if you do watch my channel and you follow the content, you know that I am pretty much a big fan of wrestling. Not as big as I used to be, but every year I always kind of buy and play the WWE release. And I've even played and reviewed the new AEW game that came out a couple of months ago. So I'm always interested in checking out new wrestling games. And WrestleQuest is one of those games that just really does speak to me in a lot of ways. And essentially this is like a wrestling RPG. I'm sure many of you watching this have heard of this. And I've played this for not a huge amount of time. I just want to give you my first impressions of it straight away, really. And I have to say, so far, I'm really, really enjoying this game. Obviously, I can't give you like an in-depth review on it or anything like that yet, but my first impressions here are very, very positive. Now, first thing to say is this is $24.99, I think, in the UK. For what it is, I think that is a decent price. I can't honestly criticise the price here. I think it's perfectly priced. And it's for fans of like old school type wrestling, and I mean like wrestling from the 80s sort of thing. You're going to love this because it references Macho Man Randy Savage, Jake the Snake, Jeff Jarrett. I mean the list goes on. There are a lot of recognisable names in this game, which I just think is just so cool. Now, while there isn't any traditional voiceover, which was a little bit disappointing for me, I was hoping for a bit of voiceover. It does give you like sound effects that you will recognise immediately, especially if you're a wrestling fan. You've got the constant "oh yeahs" from like Randy Savage going on when he's talking, and you play basically a huge wrestling fan who is a big fan of Macho Man Randy Savage, and your goal is to become a professional wrestler. And it kind of jumps forward a few years. You have become a professional wrestler, but you're a little bit deluded. You think it's real wrestling. You haven't quite bought into the idea that it's not. So it kind of plays on that naivety in quite a humorous way in the game. But also another twist here is you kind of all toys in a toy box. So imagine Toy Story, but rather than having like some of the toys in that toy box, most of the toys in this toy box are like wrestling figures and things like that. So it's like a wrestling RPG with a little bit of a Toy Story twist to it. As you would expect with like RPG type games, you've got to go on quests and all kind of stuff. And you know, some of the quests are silly quests, like, you know, you've got a wrestler who wants to get a certain type of face paint so that, you know, he can either be really flashy or really brooding, and you've got to go on a quest to find his face paint, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's not breakthrough stuff here, and it's not a game to be taken seriously. I would think that would be obvious if I'm being particularly honest. But it's got a really cool mechanic in a sense of when you have like your battles in this game, as you do in an RPG, they are wrestling matches for the most part. And while they are quite basic and the turn-based, you've got the option to kind of strike the opponent and then kind of do like a follow-up move, knock them into the ropes. You've got like gimmicks you can do as well, so you can do like your finishing moves on them and you can pin them, or you can hype up the crowd, you know, to give yourself an extra boost. You can do promos and things like that. I mean, it does everything you would expect like a wrestling RPG to do. And for me, it's just a really, really cool game, this. I mean, it looks very unique. Obviously, you can see from the graphics, it's got a certain look and style about it, you know, the pixelated style. You're either going to enjoy that or you're not. I would suggest if you're not a fan of games that look like this, unless you're a massive wrestling fan, I probably wouldn't bother with this. But I would say if you are a wrestling fan and you're not normally keen on games that look like this, I would encourage you to try this game because for me it is an awful lot of fun and I've had a great time so far with this game. So I would suggest my early impressions are, guys, if you weren't sure about this game, give it a go. It's definitely worth the price from my perspective so far. It's fun to play. It's quite humorous. It really leans in heavily to, the wrestling of, yesteryear with some very recognisable names. I think wrestling fans are going to get a kick out of all the, fun little wrestling references that it's got in here. I'll try and put a lot more time into this game, but as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of games on my plate right now trying to get through. And I promise I will try and get through as many of them as I can. Because let's be honest, in a few days, we've got Baldur's Gate 3 coming out that obviously I want to play, and that's going to swallow up the rest of my year probably. And so, yeah, I want to try and get a bit more of this content up for gaming for you guys because I know a lot of you enjoy it. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed checking out this first impressions video. Don't forget to call back on the channel for plenty more content, and I hope you enjoy watching the rest of this video with about another 15 minutes of early gameplay for you to enjoy.
I don't want your excuses. Thanks.
Time to give the people a new champion. Let's go. Take some notes and soak it in. This is my place. Oh yeah! I'm a wild child.
well-oiled spring of excitement. Yeah.
Let's go. Please find that. Time for a slam. Time to give people a new champion.
Estupendo. Yeah.
Hello.
So who's your favorite wrestler?
Let's go. Time for a slam. Spike's so nice, brother.
Wahoo!
The most electrifying thing the world of wrestling has ever seen, brother.
I'm always uncertain.